By the beginning of summer, two powerful brothers win the right to rule the Kakanika pride. They bring stability to the pride, and over the next 6 months, the lionesses give birth one after the other. In December, 2 females have 5 cubs. 3 months later, another 3 lionesses deliver 8 cubs. In such a short period of time, the pride increases by a total of 13 cubs. In the secluded dens, the little ones play during their few waking hours. Each female keeps her own nursing cubs isolated from the pride for the first 2 months. Born at the height of summer, these cubs, the future of the pride, are off to a good start. But this unusual bounty of healthy cubs, once they've been weaned, could cause problems in the long term. At 3 months old, they start to eat meat, and all of a sudden, the adults have an extra 13 mouths to feed. To ensure the cubs' well-being, the mothers have to provide meat at regular intervals, every 3 or 4 days. Welcomed into the pride, the cubs thread their way into the social fabric. Their life skills are sharpened by their fathers and the games they play with each other. The 2 Kakanika brothers are extremely patient and tolerant fathers. The lionesses form the core of the pride, bound by one collective purpose: to hunt. In summer, they hunt large Cape buffalo, abundant in this part of the Okavango, but only for half the year. When the rains stop and the buffalo deplete the grasses, they'll leave. But while they feast, so do the lions. Each herd has 400 or more buffalo. The perfect balance of numbers, where the births outweigh the killings by the lions. They are one of the most desirable and dangerous of prey. Desirable because the meat from a 1-ton buffalo can feed the entire pride for a week. Dangerous because their formidable horns can inflict a fatal wound. And if the herd stampedes, the lions can't outrun them. But the 6 Kakanika lionesses learned all this early in their hunting careers. They know the rules of engagement. They single out a buffalo, one they can separate from the herd. This time, they choose a mother, concentrating their power on bringing her down. They ignore her newborn calf. For the 6-month-old cubs, the calf presents a learning opportunity. Every chance they get to practice hunting brings them closer to independence. By the age of 2, they will hunt on their own. They're fast learners. every death is a way of life, and each kill is a step forward in their own survival. The youngest cubs get led to the kill by their mother. At 3 months old, they find the mountain of meat both tasty and entertaining. At each meal, adults and cubs gorge themselves, feeding side by side. This is unusual. Lions normally eat according to hierarchy. Males first, cubs last. Perhaps the abundance of food allows the Kakanika pride to relax the rules. Though the youngsters still get scolded to mind their manners. During summer, while the buffalo roam the Kakanika territory, the pride is guaranteed regular meals. By May, the end of summer, the rains stop, and the lion's good fortune starts to change. Breeding herds of elephants herald this shift in season. They arrive from the surrounding Kalahari Desert and spread into the forests and floodplains in the heart of the Okavango. They've come because the water in the surrounding desert has dried and the vegetation has shriveled. Kakanika offers them permanent water. The elephants need between 20 and 40 gallons each every day. Remarkably, they can drink that in just 5 minutes by filling their trunks and squirting it down their throats. Lack of water is the biggest killer of elephants, more so than starvation. The beginning of winter marks the start of hardship for the large Kakanika pride. For now, the cubs are oblivious of the challenges to come. Every day is a play day. And with so many siblings and cousins around, they keep themselves entertained, while the adults try to rest. A cub can usually demand attention and milk from any of the lactating mothers. The mothers show irritation toward cubs that are not their own. Going into the dry winter, the cubs grow, along with their demand for food. The pressure increases for the lionesses to provide more meat. And even the two Kakanika brothers, used to waiting on the sidelines, will soon be called into action. Hunting requires a team effort, and seasons of taking down buffalo have taught each lioness exactly what she has to do. But that expertise has made the Kakanikas dependent on a single food: buffalo, despite the other prey choices around them. Giraffe hunting would demand a completely different strategy. Giraffes, more alert than buffalo, would spot the lions and their clumsy cubs from far away. The lions would have no chance to strike. And giraffes aren't as gentle as they look. They can deliver a kick that can knock a lion unconscious or even kill it. So while buffalo are in the Kakanika territory, the lions concentrate on hunting them. But the season has changed, and as the buffalo exhaust each field of grass, they move to the next one. Every day, a little further from the heart of the Kakanika territory. The male lions follow the herd, constantly watching. The females and cubs are here too, but hidden. On their slow march, the buffalo never notice more than 1 or 2 lions, so they don't see the looming threat. While the buffalo remain on the lion's turf, the pride shadows them, keeping an eye on their next meal. For several days, the lions just follow the herd, sizing up their options, choosing some suitable subjects, studying their movements, and their positions within the herd. Inevitably, the time comes to attack. One of the males and a lioness act as decoys. They chase random victims to fragment the herd. Unwittingly, the cubs get in the way, adding to the confusion, but they're at risk of being trampled. The second male and the remaining females attack the intended target. Using all his strength, the male tries to suffocate it. But the buffalo's straining muscles form a steel barrier around its windpipe. The lionesses do their part, trying to immobilize it by breaking its spine. Once he's down, he should be done. But suddenly, the buffalo herd returns to rescue their comrade. They confront the pride with their formidable armor. They don't give up. They lick the fallen animal to encourage him to stand. And form a barrier against the lions. Then, one of the buffalo challenges the predators. And behind, their fallen fellow tries to rise. As one charges again in front, the buffalo that just moments ago was surrounded by killers regains his footing and disappears into the herd. For once, nature is kind to the prey. The herd rushes away, putting as much distance as possible between them and their attackers. Days of shadowing the herd have come to nothing. Though weak with hunger and tired from the energetic attack, the lions cannot rest. They have to close in on the herd and hunt again as soon as possible. Lions despise water and won't cross unless their lives depend on it. But they have no time to lose, and the cubs have to keep pace with the adults. Times are about to get harder. The lions are now approaching the edge of their 20-square-mile territory. Now it's the middle of winter, and and the buffalo follow the dwindling supply of greens that fringe the rivers and channels of the Okavango. It drives them further and further out to the limit of the Kakanaka's territory. As the cold grip of winter draws the lion's food source almost beyond their grasp, the pride constantly looks for a chance to strike. But today, they take a break. Despite their hunger and the harsh weather, the cubs seem almost untroubled. A group roar warns surrounding prides that they hold this turf, and today they have something to shout about. The five mothers take time to bond with their own cubs. The reason for this pause in their relentless pursuit lies hidden beneath a bush. The sixth lioness has given birth to two more cubs. They swell the number of youngsters to an overwhelming 15. 15 demanding, hungry mouths that need to be fed while the Kakanaka is at its most desperate, and as the lion's main prey slips from their grasp. As the buffalo leave, the elephants come, forced here when the edges of the Okavango go dry. They seek Kakanaka's water, though their food here is scarce. They are less fussy eaters than the buffalo, so they can make do with coarse grasses and reeds the buffalo leave behind. Trying to better their respective situations, the two species cross paths. One comes for the water. The other leaves to seek sweet grasses. And when the buffalo leave, the lions lose their main food source. Elephants aren't on the menu, at least not yet. This is the border of the Kakanaka territory. An invisible line the lions won't cross, because another pride rules the other side. But there's nothing to stop the buffalo from crossing. Desperation drives the Kakanaka pride to follow them over, trespassing into enemy territory. They don't get far before the locals spot them. A Kakanaka female sizes up the situation. The lions forget their hunger for a while as one of the Kakanaka brothers prepares for a confrontation. The buffalo can graze in peace while the cats settle their differences. The Kakanakas make a stand, even though they are the intruders. The other pride is at a disadvantage. Their dominant male is not with them, so they turn back. But the Kakanaka male is not finished. The resident pride makes a run for it. The Kakanaka male is too powerful. The young males of the other pride can't stand up to him. The larger Kakanaka males assert their dominance. Even though the resident pride retreats from the intruders, they're still the winners. Because their territory has the buffalo herd. The Kakanika intruders amble back to their own turf. Despite all the posturing, the pride can't follow the buffalo. Moving their cubs into enemy territory would be too dangerous. As the lions return, the last of the buffalo leave the Kakanika area for the rest of the season. For the next 6 months, they'll share the land with breeding herds of elephants. The lion pride keeps moving, looking for anything they can chase down and eat. They ignore the elephants because they're too large and difficult to hunt. The elephants mostly ignore the lions as well, as they try to glean up to 400 pounds of grass and roots apiece from the depleted landscape. As the herd moves, mothers guard their youngest calves, small enough to be attacked by predators. The mothers dote on the babies for about 4 years. Then they're on their own. Tasting independence for the first time, juvenile elephants risk wandering off and getting lost. The hungry lions return to where the 6th lioness hid her cubs when she joined the others to search for food. Most times, mothers keep the hiding place a secret from the rest of the pride. The lioness brings the tiny additions, now 2 months old, to meet their father. But he's grumpy. So small and weighing only 9 pounds, they will compromise the pride's movements. Their little steps won't be able to keep up. Eventually, they will pay the price. Already, some of the older cubs show signs of weakness. They can't rest for long. The lionesses take the lead. The pride must travel far in search of food. It takes a toll on the smallest and weakest members. All they see are large elephants. They start to look at them with interest. With nothing else to eat, perhaps it's time to reconsider. Too tired and weak to keep up with their mothers, the cubs remain together, waiting. They're on the brink of starvation. More than half of them have already died. Only the fittest will have a fighting chance, but without food, they'll have no chance at all. Their mother's return brings no joy, just some affection. The cubs try to drink, but the starving lioness's milk has gone dry. Without milk or meat, the cubs' days are numbered. When they move from mother to try to suckle, their desperate tugs irritate the lionesses. At this point, even the strongest cubs only have a few days to live. Weak, hungry, and thirsty, the cubs lie defeated. The lionesses never give up. They scan the horizon for something edible. Nothing but elephants, too large to hunt, and traveling in tight groups. But hunger calls. The pride must hunt new prey. The lionesses take their chances, following the herd, hoping for an opportunity. Perhaps a youngster will get injured or stray from the herd. The young elephants are unaccustomed to danger. Eventually, the lion's persistence pays off. During this desperate time, nature gives the cats a lucky break. But at the same time, it deals its cruelest hand. A 5-year-old youngster loses his way. His trumpeting cries go unheard by his family. He can't outrun the lions, and his tusks are too small to use as weapons. The lionesses drive the 2-ton animal to the ground and hold him down. Although the lionesses are expert buffalo killers, they have never tried to kill an elephant. Their efforts are clumsy and ineffective. Their teeth can't penetrate his 1.5-inch thick skin, and his neck is too wide to strangle. So they attack the soft, vulnerable spots. Without a muzzle to suffocate, they try to hold his trunk. Unable to kill the elephant, they start to eat it alive. That first taste of meat after almost a month of starvation revives their stamina, and they fight for the right to every mouthful. Twice the size of a buffalo, the young elephant keeps the pride well fed and introduces them to a new kind of prey. Over the next weeks, the lions work to refine their elephant-killing techniques. But the elephants strike back, stampeding toward the lions at a ferocious pace. They run for their lives. The lions persist. In this dry season that started so disastrously, killing elephants turns from an act of desperation to a way of life. Out of 15 cubs, 7 survive. They dine heartily with the 8 adults. Their success doesn't go unnoticed. The neighboring pride, desperate for a meal, dares to confront them. But the Kakanicus, with a meal and their turf to protect, won't tolerate it. Chasing the intruders isn't enough. They want to teach these trespassers a lesson. cornered by the big male, the young trespasser doesn't look him in the eyes. A direct stare would mean a challenge. Too young to stand his ground against the powerful older male, the intruding lion submits after failing to outrun him. The damage is done. The young male escapes with his life, but he's branded forever. His genitals mutilated in an ultimate act of dominance. The other Kakanika male asserts his own power by having his way with the trespassing female. By the end of winter, under the washed-out skies of an excruciatingly hot October, wave after wave of tired elephants move through the lion's territory. Winter has taken its toll on the herds. They've had their fill of life-giving water, but the scrappy vegetation offers little nutritional value. Mothers and calves grow weak, and older calves stray from the herd and get lost. The lionesses exploit these opportunities to kill. For the lions, this has become a season of indulgence. In 1 month, they kill 5 elephants, ensuring their survival and teaching the cubs the ways of the hunt. Now the cycle begins again. It starts as a far-off flicker. The darkness brings relief. As soon as the drops hit the ground, the Okavango comes alive, and the animals return. The breeding herds of elephants migrate back to their summer feeding grounds, where the rains will replenish the water and revitalize their grazing areas. Almost magically, the ruthlessness of the past season gets washed away in a spray of green. During the most desperate season in decades, about half the cubs survived. A normal survival rate, even for this abnormally large pride. The spread of fresh, sweet grasses lures the buffalo herds back into the Kakanika's territory. The lions eagerly watch their favorite prey arrive. A ton of meat with a relatively soft hide to pierce and a short snout easy to smother. The familiar game of cat and mouse resumes, though buffalo are no mice. The buffalo boss aggressively approaches the lions, hoping to frighten them away. But the lions are too familiar with this prey. During the next 6 months of rains, the 1-year-old cubs learn to hunt by trial and error. It's not as easy as their parents make it seem, though they'll become experts soon enough. But but surviving the harshest season might have made the cubs overconfident. Before they're ready, they charge the buffalo. Their inexperience puts their lives in jeopardy. Buffalo are long-distance runners. They can easily chase down the smaller, pesky lions and kill them. The pride retreats, leaving an unfortunate cub in a precarious predicament. He takes safety on a fallen tree stump. However, he misjudges the height, putting him in the line of fire. Bravely, he hangs on for his life. Lions hunt together, but if one gets in trouble, he's on his own. Eventually, the buffalo lose interest, and the pride returns to retrieve the shaken cub. The pride puts its skills to the test with every hunt. But with buffalo, they know the drill. As usual, the adult females take the lead. They attack the buffalo from the back to avoid the dangerous horns. They pierce the hide and cling to the rump, putting their entire weight on its back. They try to pull the buffalo to the ground. The cubs copy their mothers. During the summer months, the constant supply of buffalo meat builds the youngsters into strong 18-month-olds. In 6 months, they'll be self-sufficient killers. By the end of the rainy season, the young lions walk confidently with the adults, a hunting pride 14 strong. The young males' manes have started to grow. They follow their father's every move, learning when to strike, when to wait, when to hide, and when to go out in the open. As sub-adults, they're old enough to test their strength in one of the pride's most formidable battles. They stride up front with the two Kakanaka brothers and attack side by side. The heavy male straddles the buffalo's back, and the female tries to trip it to the ground. When the buffalo retaliate, the cubs stand their ground with the adults. The entire pride relentlessly attacks to weaken their prey. The buffalo's leg breaks. There's nothing his comrades can do for him now. Again, the lions attack from behind to avoid the horns. One of the males starts to smother him. Even with a broken leg, the buffalo fights for his life. He stands, and his comrades charge the lions. But the buffalo cannot walk. Even desperately wounded, he wields his horns to inflict pain on his attackers. An important lesson for the younger lions to learn. In vain, he tries again to stand. The lionesses and cubs continue their rear assault, keeping clear of the horns. Their objective, to get the buffalo on his back so the male can finish him off. The epic battle ends. The lions have won. In this ever-changing landscape of prosperity and hardship, the Kakanika pride has found stability. With the two strong brothers in command, and a healthy number of youngsters to ensure the pride's existence, they have come full circle. From desperation sprang ingenuity. Switching prey to win the battle waged by the harshest winter they've ever endured. Life on the Okavango will always be unpredictable, and the cubs will one day have to face that by themselves. Soon their fathers will expel them, and they'll have to form prides of their own. The struggle of the season is over, but the struggle for survival never ends. The Kakanikas will always be a pride in battle.